The former Sith Lord Maul is consumed by a singular goal. His obsession leads him to track down his old enemy, Obi-Wan Kenobi, on the remote desert planet of Tatooine. Maul, consumed by his own arrogance, decides to use the same deadly move that he used to kill Obi-Wan's beloved mentor, Qui-Gon Jinn. But Obi-Wan is ready for him this time, and with a swift strike, he ends Maul's life. But what if the tables were turned? What if Maul's fatal strike had landed and Obi-Wan Kenobi had fallen in battle? How would this have impacted the Star Wars universe as we know it? In this alternative story, we will explore the consequences of Maul's victory over Obi-Wan, and the ripple effects that this event would have on the fate of the Jedi, the Empire, and the galaxy as a whole. As Maul stood over Obi-Wan's fallen body, he relished in the moment of victory. For years, he had longed for this day to finally prove that he was the superior fighter. With a satisfied grin, Maul picked up Obi-Wan's lightsaber as a trophy, a symbol of his conquest. But as he examined the weapon, Maul realized that something was different. He had expected Obi-Wan to put up more of a fight, to be more of a challenge, and then he sensed it. A presence in the Force that had eluded him before. Obi-Wan had been protecting someone of great importance. Maul could feel the power of the boy through the Force, a raw and untapped potential that he longed to sculpt and shape to his will. But he knew that he had to be careful to approach this capture in the right way. He didn't want to scare the boy off, or worse, alert anyone else to his plans. The next night, Maul sent some of his loyal men to capture the boy and to eliminate any obstacles in their way. They arrived at the moisture farm, carefully creeping through the darkness. But Luke's uncle, Owen, was awakened by the commotion. Grabbing his rifle, he began to move through his home, seeking out the intruders. Owen saw the attackers and didn't hesitate to take action, firing his weapon and hitting one of the invaders. But in that same instant, another of Maul's men shot and killed Owen. Beru, Luke's aunt, came out screaming, shooting blindly at the attackers. But she too was killed in the chaos. Luke awoke to the sound of screams and gunfire, and he rushed to help his family. He was surrounded by the invaders, with all hope looking to be lost. That's when he saw a hooded figure appear, with a red lightsaber ignited in hand, killing every attacker in the building. It was Maul. He had killed his own men, urging Luke to come with him to safety. Luke hesitated. He needed to help his aunt and uncle, but Maul convinced him that it was too late, that Kenobi had sent him to help, and so Luke reluctantly followed Maul, his world turned upside down by the events of that fateful night. Maul was relentless in his pursuit of power, and now that he had Luke in his grasp, he wasted no time in beginning his manipulation. He urgently took Luke off-world, far from the familiar surroundings of his moisture farm. Maul knew that Luke was familiar with Ben Kenobi, and he used this mutual connection to his advantage. He presented himself as the good guy, a savior of sorts, who had come to Luke's aid in his time of need. He spun a tale of Kenobi's heroism, how he had sacrificed himself to protect Luke from the same men who had attacked his family. Luke, still reeling from the loss of his aunt and uncle, was eager to believe Maul's story. He trusted the man who had saved him and had no reason to doubt his motives. It was during this time that Maul learned of Luke's full name and his connection to Anakin Skywalker. Maul had long harbored a grudge against Palpatine, the man who had taken everything from him and casted him aside. He saw Luke as a means of revenge, a pawn in his larger game. With Luke now in his possession, Maul wasted no time in introducing him to the Force, but his approach was far from graceful. He spoke of Luke's innate connection to the Force, one that he claimed was stronger than anyone else's. "If you learn to master the Force," Maul told him, "no one will ever be able to harm you or the ones you love again." Maul began to teach Luke the ways of the Sith, introducing him to a code that he claimed was the path to ultimate power. He spoke of passion, strength, and power, and how they were all interconnected. "Peace is a lie," he said. "There is only passion. Through passion I gain strength. Through strength I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall free me." Luke was hesitant at first, unsure of these teachings, but Maul was a skilled manipulator and he knew just how to play on Luke's fears and desires. He promised him power and protection, and Luke began to believe that the Sith way was the only way. As the weeks turned into months, Maul continued to train Luke in the ways of the Force. Luke grew stronger and more confident, his connection to the Force deepening with each passing day. But little did Luke know that Maul had ulterior motives. He was using Luke as a pawn in his larger game, seeking revenge against Palpatine and the Empire that had wronged him. And as Luke grew more powerful, Maul's plans began to take shape. He knew that he could not trust the young Force user in training, but for now, Luke was under his control, and he would use him to achieve his ultimate goal. As time passed, Luke's power grew, fueled by his connection to the dark side. Maul watched with a mix of pride and fear, for he knew that Luke's strength was surpassing even his own. He had to keep Luke close, keep him loyal, or risk being overthrown by the very person he sought to manipulate. Maul continued to operate in the shadows, building a vast criminal empire that spanned the galaxy. His influence grew with each passing day, and many factions served him without even realizing who he was. He was a true master of deception, a shadow in the dark. As he continued to train Luke in the ways of the Sith, Maul also began to weave intricate origin stories for both himself and Luke. He told Luke how he, like him, had once been rescued by a man named Palpatine, only to be casted aside like a piece of garbage. He painted himself as a tragic figure, manipulated by Palpatine and left to suffer the same fate as Luke's father. Maul showed Luke that their fates were intertwined, how they were brought together to eliminate their true enemy, Palpatine. Luke was fascinated by these stories. He grew even more loyal to Maul with each passing day. He saw Maul as a savior, a mentor, and a friend. But as Luke's power grew, Maul began to fear the possibility of Luke no longer needing him. Maul was playing a dangerous game, and he knew that he had to stay one step ahead if he was to emerge victorious in the end. Luke had grown exponentially in power under the guidance of Maul. His connection to the dark side had intensified, and he was becoming a true force to be reckoned with. Maul knew that Luke was ready for the next step, but he needed to provide some in-person training to push him even further. Maul began leaking information about a Jedi being spotted in the Outer Rims, knowing that it would attract the attention of the Imperial Inquisitors. They would be sent to investigate, but Maul had a plan in place. He had his loyal Mandalorian followers, led by Luke Skywalker, waiting for the Inquisitors. As planned, the Inquisitors fell right into Maul's trap, and Luke showed his true power. He killed numerous Inquisitors and Imperial stormtroopers, officially putting him on the Empire's radar. Luke had become such a significant problem that even Darth Vader himself was assigned to find and destroy this Jedi. Maul watched as his plans unfold. Pleased with the results, Luke had proven himself, and now the Empire would come to know his name. He saw Luke as the ultimate weapon, and he knew that with his help, they could take down the true enemy, Palpatine. The two continued their training and plotting, Maul feeding Luke stories about his own past and connections to the Skywalker family. Maul's words resonated with Luke, and he began to see himself as a true instrument of revenge against the Empire.
In the vast reaches of the galaxy, a formidable duo emerged, their very presence sending tremors of fear through the hearts of the unwary. Luke and Maul, two figures shrouded in darkness, embarked on a treacherous journey, their destinies intertwined in the pursuit of dominion. With Maul's indomitable will and shrewd cunning, they seized control of the Outer Rim, unleashing a powerful crime syndicate upon the unsuspecting worlds. Their nefarious influence grew like a malignant vine, ensnaring territories and bending them to their will. They forged an empire, a twisted manifestation of their insatiable hunger for power. The shadows whispered tales of their ruthlessness and insidious tactics, spreading a dark legend that struck fear into the hearts of even the boldest souls. But as their empire expanded, fate began to weave an intricate web, connecting their paths with a force far greater than any they had faced before. The Empire, ruled by the iron fist of its enigmatic emperor, confronted a burgeoning rebellion that threatened to tear the galaxy asunder. Amidst the chaos, Luke and Maul found themselves locked in a fierce struggle against an adversary more daunting than they could have ever anticipated. Maul's criminal syndicate proved to be a formidable foe, its roots entwined deep within the underbelly of the galaxy. Their every move was calculated, their actions leaving scars upon the Empire's already tarnished facade. With each passing encounter, the criminal Empire became a thorn in the side of the mighty Empire, a constant reminder of their vulnerability and the encroaching darkness that threatened their reign. But as the days stretched on, Luke's power grew, a flame of untamed potential flickering within him. Maul, ever perceptive, recognized the burgeoning strength of his partner, and a dangerous idea began to take root within his mind. He saw in Luke a worthy challenger, an adversary capable of standing toe-to-toe with the formidable Lord Vader, the enforcer of the Empire's will. Like a predator stalking its prey, Maul bided his time, waiting for the perfect moment to unleash Luke upon Lord Vader, a confrontation that could potentially alter the fate of the galaxy itself. The clash of titans loomed on the horizon, a cataclysmic battle that would test the mettle of both the Empire and the criminal Empire. In the shadows of this epic struggle, the destinies of Luke, Maul, and the Empire would collide, and the galaxy would tremble under the weight of their immense power. In the heart of an ominous chamber bathed in the dim glow of crimson lights, destiny had conspired to bring together two figures of immense power and hidden truths. Luke Skywalker, his youthful countenance etched with determination, stood before his adversary, Darth Vader, neither aware of the intricate web of familial connection that entangled them. Little did they know that Maul, a cunning observer lurking in the shadows, possessed the knowledge they lacked. Vader, his imposing figure encased in obsidian armor, keenly sensed the raw currents of the dark side emanating from Luke, swirling around him like a tempestuous whirlwind. He beheld the latent power within the young Jedi, finally comprehending the reason why Luke had proven victorious against the Inquisitors who had fallen before him. A deep rumbling voice echoed within the chamber.
Such hatred, young one. Your connection to the dark side is undeniably impressive.
Luke, his eyes piercing and unwavering, remained silent, recognizing the need for unwavering focus in the face of a formidable opponent like Vader. Thoughts raced through his mind, intertwining caution and resolve as he prepared himself for the imminent clash. He knew that every strike, every movement, would be crucial in this defining moment. As the silence hung heavy in the air, Vader pressed on, his voice resonating with ominous certainty.
We shall see how powerful you truly are.
With a swift motion, he ignited his crimson lightsaber, its malevolent glow casting eerie shadows upon the chamber walls. With a surge of his commanding will, he unleashed the Force, forcefully yanking Luke toward him, bridging the distance between them in an instant. Caught off guard but swift to react, Luke's agile form twisted and contorted in mid-air, countering the forceful pull with a surge of his own power. Landing with a deft grace, he readied himself to meet Vader's onslaught, his lightsaber blazing to life. The air crackled with anticipation as the two titans closed in, their sabers colliding in a dazzling display of sparks and resonating hums. Every clash of their blades reverberated through the chamber, an embodiment of the struggle between the light and dark sides of the Force. Words were unnecessary in this dance of fate as the clash of their sabers spoke volumes. Each swing of the blades, every parry and thrust, revealed the intensity of their conflict and the profound implications it held for their intertwined destinies. With every passing moment, Luke's resolve solidified, his focus honed, as he engaged in this monumental duel against the dark embodiment of his lineage. The chamber echoed with the symphony of their battle, a symphony laden with the weight of hidden truths, untold emotions, and a profound sense of purpose. Within the crucible of their fierce battle, the contrasting forces of strength and experience clashed like celestial bodies locked in a cosmic dance. Luke, with his innate power and untamed potential, fought valiantly, but the scars of his inexperience began to mar his every move. Meanwhile, Darth Vader, a master of combat honed by years of dark mastery, swiftly outmaneuvered his younger adversary with calculated precision. Amidst the whirling clash of lightsabers, Vader's deep voice reverberated through the tumultuous air, breaking the silence with unexpected guidance.
Fear is an ally, but you have yet to grasp its true essence.
His words floated amidst the chaos, an ominous interlude in the midst of their duel. Luke's eyes blazed with defiance, his voice laden with frustration as he retorted, "I don't need your teachings." But Vader, unfazed by Luke's defiance, saw an opportunity to impart a harsh lesson. With an imperious gesture, he altered the course of their battle, shifting it from a mere physical contest to an enigmatic lesson. In one swift motion, his crimson blade arced through the air, severing Luke's hand, a merciless testament to Vader's formidable might. As agony coursed through Luke's body, his lightsaber, now severed from his grip, tumbled through the air, only to be summoned effortlessly into Vader's gloved hand. The room fell into an uneasy silence, interrupted only by the faint hiss of the deactivated weapon. Through the haze of pain, Luke's eyes widened with a newfound understanding. He beheld his severed hand, the symbol of his vulnerability, and in that moment, the true weight of fear settled upon him. The revelation of his own mortality, the fragility of his existence, consumed him like a relentless tempest. Vader's voice, a chilling cadence of both dominance and authority, pierced the silence once again.
Now, you shall witness the depths of fear. Embrace it, for it is your greatest teacher.
The words hung heavy in the air, mingling with the acrid scent of scorched metal and the lingering anguish of Luke's fresh wound. The clash of their lightsabers had transformed into an eerie tableau, a confrontation between the embodiment of darkness and a wounded, yet determined spirit. In the wake of this harrowing exchange, Luke, battered but not defeated, found himself at a crossroads. The lessons learned from this encounter would shape his destiny, forcing him to confront his own fears and unearth the strength hidden within. From the shadows, Maul's piercing gaze bore witness to the disarray that unfolded before him. His meticulously laid plans crumbled as his apprentice, seemingly on the brink of defeat, faltered against the relentless onslaught of Darth Vader. Determination etched upon Maul's face. He knew he had to act swiftly to salvage the grand design he had envisioned. He understood the immense potential that lay dormant within Luke, waiting to be awakened, consumed by the dark side. Seizing a moment of opportunity, Maul lunged forward, a surge of lethal intent propelling him towards Vader, poised to strike with lethal precision. Yet, as Maul's shadowed figure propelled through the air, Vader's senses remained ever keen, attuned to the Zabrak's every movement. With an astonishing display of agility, Vader deftly countered Maul's surprise attack, their lightsabers colliding in a dazzling clash of crimson and red. The sight of Maul, a haunting reminder of past enmities, only fueled the depths of Vader's wrath. A lifelong animosity had festered within him, dating back to his days as a young boy. The memories of that time seemed distant, hazy in the midst of their relentless duel. Maul, however, was no mere adversary to be underestimated, his skills a formidable match for the Dark Lord of the Sith. The battle between the two unfolded with relentless intensity, each strike reverberating through the air, shattering the stillness of their surroundings. But as the fight wore on, a shift in the balance became apparent. Vader, drawing upon his inexhaustible well of darkness, began to gain the upper hand. Maul's defenses faltered, his footing slipping, and he found himself falling backward, landing on his back with a resounding thud. Vader, a harbinger of triumph, approached Maul, relishing in the imminent defeat of his adversary. The scene mirrored a forgotten moment in history, one that etched itself into both their memories. Like the fateful encounter when Mace Windu had poised to strike down Palpatine, sealing Anakin Skywalker's descent into the darkness, Maul stared up at Luke, his voice laden with urgency.
If I die, our hopes of the Emperor's demise will be forever lost. Remember, Luke, he took everything from us, including your father, Anakin Skywalker.
The weight of those words reverberated within Luke's being, igniting a newfound strength within him, fueled by the dark side of the Force. Yet, in that very moment, as Vader processed the revelation that his child lived, his thoughts churned with incredulity. It seemed impossible, inconceivable, and yet he witnessed the undeniable truth before him. However, before he could further contemplate this revelation, Luke plunged his lightsaber into Vader's chest, piercing the veil of his defenses. Vader staggered, falling to a knee, his breath strained and labored. Gazing up at his son, a maelstrom of emotions swirled within him. He beheld a reflection of himself, intertwined with memories of his beloved Padme. In that ephemeral connection, Luke could feel Vader's essence, his pain, and his desire for redemption. Vader's voice, barely a whisper, escaped his lips.
Luke.
Yet before Vader could articulate his final words, Maul, seizing the opportunity, struck with ruthless determination, ending the Dark Lord's existence with a swift and decisive blow. Vader's life force ebbed away, leaving behind a poignant silence and a shattered legacy, as father and son remained locked in a moment of profound understanding, forever changed by their intertwined destinies and the echoes of a galactic struggle.